contracts, really digging into contracts and the terms. So they absolutely need representation. And it's like you mentioned, if they're going to be locking themselves into a long-term deal, they especially need to be wary of what they're signing. A lot of the players, if they're in their 16, 17, 18-year-old, and they see their first contract and they want to sign it because they're going to be playing professionally and getting paid for it. Sometimes they're not paying a lot of attention to what they're actually signing. So that's a big concern and something that hopefully will get fixed.
I think it's going to be time. You spoke on it being new. I of course spoke on the industry being new, but you have some of the same players in place from your entertainment and from your traditional sport. So those contracts are going to be similar, and we can get into some details if you want. I would think, and this is coming from like a music background, growing up, within the music industry, would photo likeness be one of those, as far as getting percentages off their photo likeness, or what would be some of the details in that to kind of look out for?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the key terms revolve around splits for sponsorship revenue, sponsorships that are brought in by the team, sponsorships that are brought in by the player. You want to have protections for the player's likeness, and I mean, it's those are some key ones. I've seen provisions where the team says that they're going to be the player's exclusive representative in negotiating sponsorship deals while the player is a member of the team. I hate that provision. I think there's an inherent conflict of interest there. So I've advised my player clients to not agree to that specific provision. And then the big hot topic issue with player contracts that I'm sure you've seen is the distinction between independent contractor and employee status of the player.
Right.
A lot of the contracts, especially with the smaller to mid-size orgs, generally call for the players to be independent contractors, and it's not as simple as saying it in a contract. And the reason why they're trying to classify players as independent contractors is because it's cheaper, and the org has more protection from liability. And I mean, it's cheaper, one, because the org is not having to withhold taxes, Social Security, Medicare, not having to provide insurance benefits. And I think whether a player is classified as an independent contractor or an employee is determined by a number of factors under the law. And the main one is how much control the organization exerts over the player and what the player is doing. And by classifying players as independent contractors, it's not only unfavorable for the player, but it also opens the org up to potential liability for not withholding those taxes and not paying minimum wage in the event that the players are working enough for the org and they're not getting paid the equivalent of what minimum wage would be. And you're seeing salaries for a lot of these small orgs. I mean, monthly salaries of $750,000 a month sometimes. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's cheaper, but orgs are also opening themselves up to liability. So that's like I said, that's a big hot topic issue that there have been a lot of publications on. I've written an article about it that's been published in a legal publication down here in Texas. But that's going to be an issue. It's going to keep being an issue moving forward. So those are kind of the big issues that I'm seeing in contracts right now.
So staying on track with that, like what other business issues do you think stakeholders are going to face within like the gaming esports industry, other than those?
Yeah, I mean, the big one is profitability, and just kind of breaking the kind of stakeholders in the industry into three main categories. You have orgs, players, and sponsors, and then you have the peripherals and other companies involved. But those are kind of the three main ones. And orgs, talking about orgs are not most often are not profitable. I mean, you have the exceptions with the larger orgs like 100 Thieves, FaZe Clan, Cloud9, those guys. But and even then with those, the larger orgs, their valuations are overstated in those circumstances. But in most cases, orgs are not profitable, and it's especially for orgs that their business model is solely based on competing. Those orgs are not going to survive. There needs to be some diversification in what the orgs are doing, whether it be competing, content creation, merchandise. Content creation is the key one there. 100 Thieves is great at it. FaZe Clan's great at it. Optic's great at it. And even Hex has always said that content is king. I mean, that's how these brands build up their brands and their followings. And if orgs aren't doing that, they're not going to survive. So I think key, especially for the smaller to mid-size orgs moving forward, is going to be collaboration between the orgs. I think you're going to see orgs that are pushed out of the industry because they haven't made their business model, they haven't diversified their business model enough. So I think you're going to see more orgs starting to merge together in the future as well. I think that's going to be really the only way for a lot of these small to mid-sized orgs to survive. I mean, the barriers to entry for orgs are not very high. It's easy for anyone to create an org, but to have it be profitable and survive is a completely different story. So I think that's the biggest issue right now. And then for sponsors, seeing returns on their investment. I mean, if the orgs aren't profitable, most of the money flooding into the industry right now is sponsorship dollars. So I know there's always talk of a bubble in the industry, and I'm not so scared about that. I think the industry is here, and it's here to stay, but I think there are definitely still kinks that need to be worked out as far as getting it more sophisticated and really figuring out how to make it as profitable as it can be. And hopefully sponsors won't be scared away by seeing that some of these orgs aren't bringing in the profits that they're expecting. But I think those are kind of big issues right now, business-wise.
So, man, you got my wheels turning because I never thought about it from that standpoint. Seriously, and it makes sense. Like you have orgs like 100 Thieves going after the merch like really hard because they built that content and they have viewership to the point where we have the viewers, now we can push product on them, because other than that, all you have is content.
Right.
Man, that was some great points, man, Johnathan, man.
And I mean, another issue.
Go ahead.
And I mentioned that there are no barriers to entry. That's leading to an oversaturation of the industry as well with orgs. I mean, comparing it to professional baseball or the NFL or basketball, you have 30 to 32 teams, so there are fewer teams to follow. With esports, you have multiple orgs that are playing in multiple titles, so you could say the Call of Duty League is like the NFL, League of Legends is like NBA or whatever. If you compare it that way, there are only so many viewers that can go around that will be dedicated to one org. And I think there is oversaturation in the industry with orgs, and that's why I think for some of the smaller and mid-sized orgs to survive, they're going to have to merge and really share resources and
I can definitely see that happening, man. Now that we're having this conversation, because I can see some regional and some if you would say minor leagues taking place, and it's going to have to happen. They're going to have to form a Voltron at some point, because even like you mentioned your Call of Duty leagues and your League of Legends leagues, man, you have to have like a couple $1 million to even start a team within the league, and they're splitting revenue and everything else within those leagues. So I can definitely see that. And on another standpoint, man, I'm a Baton Rouge, Louisiana guy, born and raised, but I stayed in Dallas for quite some time within the metro. And I have some friends, man, and when it comes down to esports, your name came up a couple of times as far as, being a part of the culture, being embedded, sharing information. And I want to cover this before we get ready to go. Tell us about your monthly meetups and what caused you to do that, and how is it going? When is the next one? I know we're dealing with the pandemic right now, but I don't know if you went virtual or what. So just tell us about that.
Yeah, so the meetups, they've been going on. The first one was back in December, and we had one January, February, and March, and then obviously they've stopped since then temporarily. But the first one had just five or six people, including myself, and the March one had 25 people. So it's been growing great, and the number of people that have expressed interest in it, who have either come or expressed interest in it, is up to about 65 people. So it's a really good group of business professionals in the esports industry here in the DFW area. And the motivation for it was, as I've been going along in the industry for the past year, a little over a year now, I've been really able to expand my network and connect with people in different parts of the industry, whether that be just different companies, orgs, investors. And the value that I was finding that I was providing to the industry, at least right now, outside of legal work, which is still fairly limited, has been my ability to connect people with each other, my ability to connect companies with each other, to foster collaboration, connecting startups with investors to foster conversations. And that was really the motivating factor for these monthly meetups. Was the esports industry is a tight-knit industry, but even here in Dallas, not everyone knows each other. So I saw an opportunity to get people connected with each other and hopefully foster collaboration. And we've already had some success stories from these meetups where people have met for the first time at the meetup, and their companies have worked together outside of it. And that's the goal. And that's as you said before, my goal is to help the industry grow and reach its potential, and hopefully I'm able to do that from the legal side of things, but I also want to do that from the business side of things. I mean, that's really the main way that the industry is going to grow, is to foster collaboration and business relationships. So that's what I've been really trying to do, and that was the motivation for those monthly meetups. And they've been the first Wednesday of every month. They've been in Dallas, try to move it around to different parts of Dallas so people can come, or more people can come if they're further north or further south. So hopefully we'll be able to start the next one up, I guess, in June now, since the stay-at-home order here in Dallas was just extended through May. But, yeah, looking into possible virtual ones as well in the meantime, but we'll hopefully get back to in-person ones here in June.
Awesome, man. It was good having you on. I'm going to let you take a couple seconds to kind of plug away, let everybody know how to get in contact with you. And it's your time to plug away, Johnathan.
Yeah, so I'm really active on LinkedIn, so people can just look me up, Johnathan Jordan. Our law firm website, our law firm is called Kane, Russell, Coleman & Logan. Our website's krcl.com, so people can find out more about my practice and also the practices of the other lawyers at our law firm. We have a wide scope of practice areas: litigation, commercial, IP, immigration, pretty much anything you can think of. We have a lawyer who does it, and esports now. I'm getting active on Twitter also. My handle is DFW Esports Law. and those are probably